Hi, how are you? Well, we finished chapter 7, database. And we talk about a lot of stuff there. We talk about how we had a database and what it means, a collection of tables. We talked about the tables, rows and columns, and the fields that we have in each table. We talked about what happened before the database approach, the file based approach. We talked about how data, once processed, became information, and information became knowledge. And with knowledge, we could use the information that was generated. And at the end, we would have wisdom. And of course, that's what we all want to have, wisdom. And that's something that comes with the data and how you work with the data, how you move things around. And that's why people with gray hair are supposed to be wise. Of course, we talked about the models of database. We talk about the traditional models, hierarchical. We talked about the network, and we talk about relational data model. And that's the one that's used today. That's the most used. We talk about object-oriented database. We talk about flat files. We talk about structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. We talked about NoSQL and how when we have YouTube, for example, it's not a traditional database, but still it's a NoSQL database because we have tags and we have names and we can retrieve what we're looking for with those tags and words. We talk about how the distribution of the data is important, and we can have uh, centralized database and we can have distributed database. That distributed database can be homogeneous and heterogeneous. It depends on how different the applications are. And of course, depends on the number of users. It can be a single user database, or we can have a multi-user database. We talk about security, again, the CIA triad of security with confidentiality, integrity, and availability, and how all those data breaches have occurred in the past years with Target, Neiman Marcus, the NSA, Wells Fargo, and so we have to pay attention to the vulnerabilities, to the threats, and we have to protect our assets. We have to see which risks are present, and based upon those risks, we, and the CIA, we make our plan, our security or cyber security plan. There are some other ways to keep our PII safe, good password, updated software, and keep an eye on your devices and other uh, advices that you should follow in order to keep your personal information, personal identifiable information safe. So this is a good topic. Of course, for those of you who are going to be in the IT field, we talk about normalization. We talk about uh, logical and physical design. So those things are very good and very nice and very helpful if you are in the IT path. For this chapter, we have two assignments. We have a database assignment and we have a quiz. Are both 100 points each. It's going to be 200 points. It's a total of 1,700 points. And for the database, the important thing is to have all the data there in the spreadsheet and use the corresponding formulas. So we can find the grades on one side, and on the bottom of the table of the data, we have to find the totals of the points. And of course, the final grade. That's also important. Remember that with Excel, you can format your sheet. You can change the font, the size, the boldness of the data, and other things that can make your data alive. Have a good one, and we will see each other again on the next class.